Dating apps are highly dependent on the visual, and if your photos are bad, it's going to be an absolute grind. So in this video, I'm going to break down some Hinge profiles that people have posted for review on Reddit and point out some of the mistakes that they're making with their photos and profiles, as well as some of the things that they're doing correctly. But before I start, I'm a photographer, cinematographer, and sometimes even model with experience on both sides of the camera. My job has been helping people and businesses look their best, be it for social media, dating profiles, or marketing purposes. Beyond professional work, I've taken some of my own photos that have been featured on a few fashion blogs, and more specifically for this video, I've used dating apps successfully myself, which has largely been determined by my selection of photos and profile design. So with my background, I've learned a lot about presenting myself and others in the best light, and I've had the chance to guide and coach others in doing the same on dating apps and social media. So with that said, let's jump into it and break down some of these profiles. So for the sake of this video, I mainly want to focus on the photos, but if there are any prompts that catch my eye or any mistakes, then I'll point those out as well. Because designing a successful profile is really about making everything cohesively work together to present you in the best way possible. So with this first profile here, we have a 21-year-old guy looking for a review. In his first photo here, he's got a picture, looks like it might be with his mom or like a family member or something, but not a good photo right away. He's got sunglasses. We can't see his face at all. And one thing I want to point out here is that this photo is taken in the middle of the day, so the light is very harsh. You can see how bright it is on his shirt. And because of that, it's going to create a very dark shadow as well. So the shadow that cuts across his face and his body is really hiding his face and the other half of his body, and it's just not flattering light. Typically you want to take photos at golden hour, which is right around sunset, or blue hour, which is just after sunset, and even in the time right before sunset you can catch some good light as well. But the main thing is that when the light is softer, you won't have these bright spots and harsh shadows. It'll be more even overall and flattering to your skin. Now his next two photos here, he has more group photos again. One thing I want to point out here with this suit photo is that it looks like it was taken mid-expression, so it looks kind of awkward. Both of these photos don't really present him in the best light, and I would just say overall that he just has too many group photos so far. He has 3 in total. He also has a different haircut in each one, so we don't really know which one is him currently right now. I personally like to use photos that are most current. I hate it when people use photos that are not current with how they look. In this prompt here, that I go crazy for Beats, Bears, and Battlestar Galactica, just not adding anything of value or substance for someone to start a conversation about or to present himself in an impressive light at all. His next photo here, again, another group photo, and he's actually the furthest one away from the camera, so we really can't see him. Too many group photos all in all so far. And man, his last photo, again, the only photo he has by himself is with sunglasses bent over on the shore here, and another group photo here. At least you can see his face a bit more clearly, but again, too many group photos. The only solo photo is taken at a distance with his face concealed. Overall, this would be a lot better profile if you left it to maybe one group photo at most. And typically when you pick a group photo, you want to pick a photo that boosts your value in some way. So if you're a guy and you're the tallest one in the photo, that would be an example of a good group photo to use. Or if you have a group of friends who, you know, look like they're cool guys or whatever, that would also help you as well. The opposite would hurt. If you have a group of friends that don't look very friendly or not very interesting, to put it nicely, it's probably best just to leave that out. All right, so our next profile here, we have a 28-year-old guy looking for review. His first photo right away, his face is concealed by his hand. We can't see what he looks like. The photo is also not great quality. His face is kind of blurred and it's taken from a distance. So not a good photo overall. Plus the background is kind of distracting with all this going on here on this throne with the axes and everything. It takes away from his face. You want to choose a photo that shows your face very clearly at first and there's nothing distracting behind you. The more plain the background, the better sometimes, and I'll get into that more later. So his next photo here is a group photo. I believe he's on the far right here. He's actually one of the shortest people in the group, which is not going to help things as a guy, and it's far away. Again, face kind of blurred. We can't really see anything. And this is just not helping his value overall. I would have left this picture out for sure. This next photo isn't the worst photo in the world. At least we can finally see his face clearly, but it's too far back. You know, by now most people would have probably swiped left because they can't get a clear view of him, and you know, people have short attention spans. Keep that in mind too. You want to be able to hook people really fast. If you can't hook them quickly with your first photo, you may not hook them at all. So having this photo, a clear shot of his face so far back on his profile, isn't doing him any favors. The reason I said that it's not the worst photo in the world is that one improvement he can make here is to have a photo here where he's looking at the camera so women can clearly see his eyes. Women value seeing a guy's eyes and they can be highly attracted to them. So if you're not showing that, you're doing yourself a disservice. This next photo here, kind of a big cheesy smile. I'm not really a big fan of that. I am a fan of smiling and showing your teeth to show that, you know, you do have nice teeth. Someone who hides their teeth all the time is probably hiding them for a reason. So you do want to show a smile in one of your photos, but it should be done in a more casual type of way. These big, you know, Kool-Aid cheesy smiles can be a bit much sometimes and not do a lot for your attraction, and can even take away from your attraction in some cases to where it makes you look kind of goofy, boring, etc. So keep the whole idea of looking attractive and having sex appeal in mind. And this photo as a whole whole just doesn't really do a whole lot for his image as well either. Remember that you only have 6 photos to present yourself in the best way possible, and to spend one of those photos on something like this just isn't great. We got the purple light and everything. Again, it's far away, we can't see his eyes up close, so it's best to leave it out. And then his last photo here, again taken at a distance, he's got sunglasses on covering his eyes so we can't see him. One thing I want to note about photos with sunglasses is that a lot of people are against them, but I'm not entirely against them myself. In fact, some of my highest performing photos have been ones with sunglasses. They can add kind of a cool effect, a mysterious effect if done correctly, but you want your other 5 photos to clearly show you. It should be something that you just sprinkle in there. It shouldn't be the feature of your profile, and it shouldn't come after a bunch of other bad photos. If we can't see you clearly in all your other photos, then adding a photo with sunglasses is just going to make things even worse rather than better. So keep that in mind, and again, the profile as a whole. So the next profile here, we have a 31-year-old guy, and right away this is a good photo. You can tell it was taken by a photographer, not only because of the quality, but because of the lighting. You can see the sun is behind him here, which is creating this rim light, which is this light that's outlining his body. It separates him from the background and looks kind of cool, kind of has that glowing effect around him. But also his face is well lit from the front, so a flash was used here. And one thing I want to note here to the guys out there is that your fashion sense and your selection of accessories and clothes is a big deal. So another reason why this photo is good is that he's got good fashion sense. He's got the necklace, he's got a watch, he's got a bracelet on the other hand. He's showing his tattoos. He's showing that he's fit. You can see his arm up here, kind of flexing the bicep a little bit. And his shirt choice here, the Henley shirt with a couple of the buttons undone, is good also for showing off his physique and showing that he's fit. And it works overall with his vibe. Like the shirt has a relaxed look to it, and so does he with the smile and the tattoos and the fashion sense and all that. It just has a certain cohesive vibe about it that projects who he is in a positive way. Now, another thing about this shirt too is that he has a couple buttons undone, and he's showing some skin because of that. And the thing I want to point out is that showing skin as a guy can be a good thing as well, just like how guys like when women show skin to some degree. Women find men showing skin attractive as well when it's done tastefully. And this is an example of it done tastefully. It's not too in your face or too ridiculous. It's not too douchey or anything. It's just done in a subtle way that works for him. Now, this is a good prompt here too that he has. It says, "I'm weirdly attracted to down-to-earth goofballs. We'll get along if you bring your authentic, playful, passionate, and affectionate side and some strong opinions mixed in." So he's got a bit of a push-pull here. He's not saying a bunch of gooey stuff that might turn off a woman. He's saying some legitimate things here. You know, bring your authentic self, be playful, passionate. He's showing that he values all these different qualities, but then at the end, he's also saying that he values some strong opinions mixed in. So that shows that, you know, he's going to respect someone that has their own personality and own opinions, and that gives that push-pull effect to where he's starting it off with some of these softer elements, passionate, affection, and all that, but he's saying, you know, also bring some strong opinions as well. So overall, what this prompt does is generate some emotional response and polarity. It's not boring. It's a bit of a push-pull, like I said, and it has a couple of different things going on there. So really try to make your prompts have some type of interesting element to them that'll get someone to have an emotional response and respond and give them something to talk about. There's plenty of things for somebody to talk about in this prompt. Now, this next photo is kind of funny because it's almost like an artistic animal photo. You know, a lot of people have pictures with their cats or dogs or something, but he's got this side profile shot. It's a good clean shot overall, good lighting again. His facial hair here as well is worth taking note of. It's trimmed, it's well kept, it's not a big bushy beard. Shows that he likes cats, so he's got that softer side, but it also has almost kind of like a cool stoic look with the expression and the side profile shot. This next photo is like an in-action photo. It looks like it's him at work. He's actually got a different haircut here, but again, it's presenting him in a good light. Take note of the shirt here. It's a form-fitting shirt. It's a good fit. You can see his shoulders, bicep, you can see his physique through it. You can see that he's fit again. It's a good shot from the side as well. It shows his jawline clearly. Some people tend to post photos where they'll be, you know, kind of in an awkward pose with a double chin, but not here. You know, leave those types of photos out. Again, pick the photos that present you in the best light possible. I can't stress that enough. And another thing to note here is that he looks very casual and relaxed. He's got a slight smirk and his body language is relaxed, and that's what you really want to aim for with your profile overall. Try to avoid photos where you look too stiff or rigid and posed, and pick the ones where you look the most effortless and natural. Another good photo here of him on the beach. You can see his tattoos again. Looks like he's active. Nice scenery. You can see he's got muscular legs here again, showing off that he's fit. This is a good prompt with it too. I'm a regular at training on the beach 5 times a week and full days on the weekend. Who doesn't love a bit of sand, sweat, salt, and sunshine? Again, he's expressing that he's active and doing interesting things, so that's helping boost his value. Now, this photo is probably the only one I would have a knock against. I think he could have left this photo out. The best part about this photo is the scenery. I believe he's in Bali here, but this photo isn't doing a lot to add to his image otherwise. It's a group photo, and he's not the focus, and he's not the tallest one in the photo either. The guy on the right actually kind of draws your eye because he's the tallest one. So if this guy on the right actually had a dating profile, I would say this would be a good photo for him to use. But for the guy on the left, it would be better for him to have a photo alone in this environment, maybe hiking or something, or doing something else interesting. But this group photo, it isn't the end of the world. It just isn't adding more to his profile than what he's already presented. It's kind of filler. It doesn't really serve a purpose. This last photo is good lighting, showing the smile again, relaxed body language. Again, the Henley style, the necklace, showing his tattoos. Just overall a good photo, and you can clearly see his face. All right, our next guy here is 26, and this photo right away is not good for a few reasons. First off, his posture is not flattering. He's hunched over on the side of this fountain, and it's just not presenting himself in a good light. We can't see how tall he is, and it's just a weak posture overall in terms of poses. Also, the majority of this photo could have been cropped. This background is pretty distracting. There's a bunch of buildings behind here. Photo's crooked, cars and everything. None of this in the back is adding anything positive to the photo, and it's only taking away from it. Also, this prompt, do you agree or disagree that hot dogs and tacos are technically sandwiches? I get that he's trying to be kind of silly maybe, but it's one of those things that's going to be boring to most women and flat. It's not interesting, especially paired with the photo that isn't a good selection. So again, keep your entire profile in mind of what is working together and what is working against each other. So I definitely would get rid of this prompt. This next photo, not the worst one in the world, but not great either. Kind of an ugly background with this building. Again, it's crooked. It is showing that he's playing tennis, so there is some benefit to showing an action shot. I just believe it could have been framed in a better light here. Okay, so this photo is something I want to point out to guys too. Try to keep photos with graphic t-shirts out of the mix. And this is something that might catch a lot of guys by surprise, but graphic tees, you have to be very careful when you wear graphic tees. Many graphic tees can create an image of being more childish than you are. They tend to downgrade a grown man's look rather than upgrade them. There's very specific cases where graphic tees are really acceptable. Sporting events may be one, but in general, graphic tees are a bad thing, and they tend to make you look more kiddish than anything. The only exception I would make to this sometimes is streetwear, which can have kind of a cool, edgy aesthetic if it's done correctly. Now, this photo on top of the others is not a good one. Even in isolation, if his other photos had been good before this, I would not use this photo. I get, again, he's trying to be silly. He's trying to be goofy. Maybe he's a funny guy, kind of a fun guy to be around. That's fine. But, a photo upside down where your shorts are hiked up at the gym, it's not really adding a lot. I would say it's only taking away from your image. It's not presenting himself in a way that would make someone want to date him. It's just kind of goofy. It's like, why are you upside down at the gym hanging on the pull-up bar by your feet, And then when you look at this prompt here, my best dad joke, what's the difference between a poorly dressed guy and a bicycle, blah, blah, blah. He already had that silly, goofy prompt towards the beginning, and now this photo, and the question starts to become, can this guy be serious? And there's just a strong lack of sex appeal here too. You got to remember that. You got to keep that in mind. Your overall sex appeal towards women is going to be a big factor in having them swipe right. If there's no sexual attraction or emotional response in a woman, you're far less likely to get a swipe right. She's more likely just to X you out and move on because it's just a dead response. It's a dry response. It's boring. It's nothing. There's nothing motivating her to go forward. Photo of him playing pool is okay, I guess. Again, could be framed in a better light, but not the end of the world. And then this one I would have just left out. Again, we have a distracting background here, a lot of stuff going on. And in terms of fashion here, the polo with cargo shorts is not doing him any favors. It's hiding too much of his body, and it's just not flattering. And this prompt too, to me, I see this a lot, but it's really pointless to me and my best friend. You have to ask yourself when you're browsing, do you really care about who somebody's best friend is in a photo? Probably not. So do they care about who your best friend is in the photo? Probably not. It may sound harsh, but so again, 6 photos, and you got to ask yourself, what am I presenting here? And you have to realize that the person is here for you. They're not here for your friends. So keep that in mind. Now, the next profile here, we have a 27-year-old guy, and this is kind of an interesting shot because this is a shirtless picture, but it's cropped, it's cut. So it kind of creates this intrigue to where if a woman looks at this, she might wonder what the rest of his physique looks like, because you can tell the guy's muscular. You can see his traps here. He's also got the tattoo shown, the necklace, he's got a good jawline, he's got the smirk, no big cheesy smile. You can see his eyes here. The lighting's soft and even across his skin, no harsh shadows or bright spots. Overall, this is a good photo. I know some people may not like this one because it's a shirtless photo, and to some extent I do agree. I think a shirtless photo, whether it's cropped or not, would be better to have further down the profile, but this is a good overall shot of him. This prompt, I'm looking for a full-time lover. not a great prompt, and it looks like he's looking for a life partner here, so this would probably throw a lot of people off and make him think that he's looking for hookups. But even if he wasn't looking for a life partner and he was casually dating, not a good prompt. A lot of women aren't going to be attracted to that. Now, his next 2 photos are photos of him and his dog, and you also get a sense of his height here with the dog next to him. You can see that he's a tall guy, and you can see that he's built. Again, you can tell he's fit by this point. And it also has that contrasting softer side with the dog, so that can be appealing, especially if he's a big dog person, which it seems like he is. But one thing I want to note is that when I've helped women with dating profiles and I've looked at the guy side of things, almost every single guy has a dog photo. And if dogs are a big part of your life, that's fine. I'm a big dog person myself. I'm a big animal person, so I get it. But if you are looking to separate yourself from the pack, you may want to leave that out and use a different photo instead. It's those little things that make you different from everybody else. But if it is a big part of your life, then leave it in. For this specific profile, I would have only used one dog photo. The first one is the best one here, and overall I would have just used that one instead of two. That would have given him the chance to show off something else with another photo instead of being kind of redundant with the dog theme twice in a row. So his next photo is a group photo, and I think this is actually a good use of a group photo, and I'll tell you why. Number one, his group of friends looks like some masculine dudes that like to go out and be active. You know, all these guys look like they're pretty tall, pretty built. Again, pretty masculine guys. It's not a lame looking group, and they're in the outdoors doing something here. Again, you can see his physique. The only thing that's questionable is these boots. Not really sure what's going on there. Looks like my man's rocking some Uggs or something. But other than that, he's not the tallest one in the photo, but that's okay because it looks like he's on a little bit lower ground than these guys. But overall, I think it adds to his value to show that the company he keeps is similar to him, and it presents himself in a good light as well. Now, this photo here is a really good photo, and I think this should be his first photo, even though he has a beanie on and everything. There's a few great things about this photo. Number one, the lighting is soft and even. We have no bright spots, no harsh shadows. It's even across his face and is flattering to his skin. The next thing is that the background isn't too distracting. It's kind of plain in a good way. It's just some sand and some weeds, so the focus is on him. Also, the colors of the background are lighter, so it makes him stand out more in this darker outfit. Keep that in mind, the contrast between you and your background. If the background is lighter, you want your clothing darker, and vice versa. And the biggest thing about this photo is how effortless it looks. It looks very relaxed. His pose looks very natural, and it's presenting him in an attractive light. He's got the slight smirk. You can see his eyes. It's no big cheesy goofy smile. He doesn't have unflattering posture or an unflattering angle or anything. His jawline looks solid here. Overall, I would use this photo first for sure, and I think it would do really, really well with women. And I would take that shirtless photo and either get rid of it or move it down the line, but overall replace it with this one, absolutely. And to the guys out there that have a lot of those big grinning cheesy type smile photos, take note of this and take more photos like this as well. It's okay to have a smile here and there, but most of your photos should be like this, where it looks more effortless and relaxed rather than forcing a smile like it's a high school yearbook or something. Expressions like this are a lot more attractive and intriguing to women overall, but the one exception would be is if all your photos are like this, because then it starts to look like you're hiding your teeth for a reason. So definitely show your teeth in at least one photo, but again, try to make it that casual, effortless type of smile. Anyway, I'm gonna stop right there after 5 profiles, or else this video is gonna get too long. There's even more things I could break down about all of these profiles. And if you're interested in any of the products and services I have to offer, check the links down in the description below. Otherwise, leave a comment, let me know if you want to see more videos like this. And hey, stick around, watch this video next, and I will see you in the next one.